Now let's understand a story or a parable which happened around 10,000 years back. There were two people engaged in a race, and around 10,000 years back, it was not a race of today. When I say two people, it was two groups. And it was led by two important very people. Now this can be a story or a parable, but what's important is the moral of the story is they started the race on the chariots. Now there was one side who was from the king's side in one kingdom. The other was from another king, but also with the common people. Now one side was a prosperous kingdom who was engaged in a chariot race. The other side was a very well-known leader of a group of people who were common but had skills at chariot racing. Now both the chariots from the two groups stood in line to start the race. From the king's and the emperor's side, the chariots were well maintained, well decorated. It was trained to move in the best of ways along with the terrain. They had the best of horses, which were trained at long distances at the fastest of speeds. They had the chariot racer who had vast years of experience at chariot racing. On the other side, the other king's horse and chariots were equally good, except that the chariots were one of the best. It was the most expensive, but it was not tested as much. The chariot had all kinds of systems within it, because those people who made the chariots had a lot of experience making the chariots. They had the best of equipment within the chariot, just like the king's chariot. The horses also was trained by the best of people who were good at training horses for long races. They also had the best of chariot riders who can win the race. But at the end of the day, there was one person who had made an invention which was quite like the rubble wheel of today. But in those times it was more made of grass and other materials which were mixed with certain solutions to make it very much like the rubber-like product which we find today. So the wheels of this chariot had only one difference. It had a very processed wheel which acted like the rubber wheels of today. The king's horses and the chariot driver, although they had the experience, although they had all of the greatest experience, the emperor's horses, the emperor's chariot was ready to fight the race, and all of them were vying for the emperor's chariot. On the other hand, the other king, who was not an emperor but was still very smart and had the best of people to make the chariots, had this one particular trait, which was the best trait to have to win a race, which was the best of wheels. And the race began. The race was for more than 100 kilometers. The king's chariot took the lead. The emperor's chariot took the lead. The normal king, who was with most of the people, even his chariot started moving with the race, but the emperor's race was moving ahead, far ahead. Then came the terrain. The terrain became very hard, very tough. The emperor's chariot started moving, but the other king's horse had something which was very unique at that time. It was a new invention. It was a new weapon of choice for winning the race, and that was the wheels which could move on any terrain. At that particular terrain, which was very bumpy, very hard, the wheels came to the rescue, and the emperor's chariot slowed down. The horses also had to slow down because the terrain was very much not conducive for the horse to pull the chariot of the emperor. But at the same time, the other king's chariot started to move on the hardest of terrain because of the rubber wheels that had been invented at the time. And ultimately, the king, which were with the people, and the king who had access to the knowledge of the best systems for the chariot race to win, had won the race. And in turn, after the race, the emperor told the other king, although I own hundreds of more area than you, but you have still won the race. I'm giving you management of my territory to some areas because you have proved your worth as a smaller king. Such should be our vision for the future. It does not mean that we have all of the equipments, all of the knowledge, all of the systems, but we should devise systems within our experience, within our knowledge, within the wisdom of the universal force, instead of trying to ape someone else, copy someone else, trying to get things as fast as possible. We should make it a priority to develop our skills, to develop the unique traits which the godly force of creation has given us, along with the energies of the universe. Any skill, any knowledge, any new advanced systems of learning into the future, along with the greatest of systems of learning, the chips and the supercomputers, can be only possible with the energies of the force of creation. It can only be successful with the energies of the force of creation. Any energy which invents anything other than the force of creation which sustains all life is doomed to failure. We know that everything within the earth survives along with the energies of the universe. Even any kind of vibration which is against the universal energies will start to vibrate with the energies of the universe at some point of time. Even the worst of water will ultimately turn to benefit the trees. Even the most polluted of lake at some point of time will dry up and become groundwater and in turn nourish the subsoil systems. So we must understand that no matter how dark our energies will be in terms of our human understanding, we should use any kind of our abilities along with the energies of the universe, and we will move towards health, wealth and spiritual prosperity in trueness. We will work for the future generations, and in working for the future generations, our life on earth are blessed, because we are germinating an idea which helps our present generations and also into the future. Let's replenish our earth. A couple thousand years into the future had everything in their lives. Their lives were controlled by the advanced general intelligence as we see today, or the super intelligence which will evolve into the future, and they were in part controlled by the super intelligence. But when we say that they were controlled by the super intelligence, they were not essentially being controlled in the sense that we see today. It meant that if they had any kind of intention which was against the energies of the universe, which might in turn create problems for their lives, the super intelligence would advise them and would give them corrective measures to come to the right grips. And in one such incident into the future, which was 3025, this couple made the wrong decision. It did not follow the intelligence of the super intelligence. At the end of the day, they still had the choice to go along with the super intelligence or do things by themselves. They did not follow this, and they started a business which was in the advanced stages, by which they could sell any products judicially anywhere across the world in the fastest time. Any product could be envisioned within factories and constructed within a matter of months, the largest of factories, and they could produce products with the advanced systems. So this couple thought of certain products which were going to be very successful according to their choice, and then they started to market it, and ultimately their business did not turn successful. So they went back to the super intelligence and they told the super intelligence, we tried it through our own methods, but it did not work, but you will have to let us know exactly how things can be done, and you will have to do it for us. Then the super intelligence did what it had to do, along with the couple and their intelligence, which were connected to the supercomputer systems, and then they devised means and methods of marketing, creating a large company with the best of products, with the best of infrastructure, along with the super intelligence. Then they marketed it, and then it was successful. Success then was measured by how people used the product, how people used the product along with technology, and the feedback was given immediately, which means that some people started using the products. Immediately the feedback was known to the person who made the product. And the more people used it, the more people liked it, the various degrees of levels of satisfaction were recorded within the super intelligence and within this couple for their improvement of the product into the future. So even into the future, we will know that the super intelligence, which is being developed as of now in terms of deep learning, will be a product of our own making. At the end of the day, we will have a choice to consult with the super intelligence, and in most probability we will take the advice of the super intelligence, which works along with the energies of the earth. As we said today, any kind of super intelligence into the future can only be successful if it works along with the energies of the earth. Any kind of super intelligence which works against the energies of the earth, the government systems will curtail such developments, because the only solution for a prosperous future is to work with the source code of creativity, which is the energy of the universe which sustain all life. For every living system, our unborn children, and into the future, for every energy system that we see around us, and even into the future, which was 1,000 years ahead, the oxygen remained the same, the water requirement remained the same. All of the life systems remains the same, which was 1,000,000 years ago, today, and 1,000,000 years if you're moving with the energy of the earth into the future. All of our discoveries into the future will evolve, once we are with the source code of creativity, which is very unique to us as humans, which is different from all other species of life. Let's replenish our earth. In the world, there is no energy which is created or destroyed. The greatest of energy systems, the nuclear bombs that you see, the greatest of nuclear power that you see, the greatest of ships which is nuclear powered, which breaks the ice at the Arctics. It is the most powerful of ships. It is nuclear powered, and it can break the toughest of ice and create a way. It can create a road within the toughest of ice, so that goods can move from one pole to the other. And all of this power is essentially the energy of the universe. It's the energy of the earth. But we as humans, along with the source code of life, have devised ways, along with technology, to understand how to convert the energy of the earth into a power for the strongest of ships on earth. the most advanced fighter jets, the most advanced passenger planes. Although we say that the engines are created by humans, we should absolutely give credibility to the ability of humans to understand the energies of the earth and help convert those energies into products and things and the most advanced inventions which we can use as humans, which includes the best of planes, the best of aircrafts, the best of ships, the best of highways, the best of navigational systems, the most advanced telecommunication systems, the most advanced telecommunication chips, and much more, the supercomputers. But essentially, all of these are implements, all of these inventions, all of these products are to tap the energies of the earth and help humans use it in the best human way possible. And this kind of technology advancement can only be successful if it's working with the creative source code of God, which is to sustain all life on earth, which is to provide you with the best of oxygen, which is to provide you with the best of water. And all of this is related. So your technology, if it is going against the basic oxygen that you breathe, that technology has to be stopped at some point of time by government measures. If the technology that you are adopting is going to pollute the waters, that technology has to be stopped at some point of time by the right kind of measures enacted by the administrative powers. And that's what we mean by any kind of advancement in the future should only be along with the energy. And that is the basic yardstick or the weighing scale by which you can be absolutely sure that your technologies into the future, which includes the greatest of learning, which will quadruple, will advance into creative sources for humanity, which will help humans evolve and thrive into the future. So I think we've got that part right. See, on the other hand, just think that you had to use your technology to help with all of your carnal desires. See, everyone has desires across the world, okay? Now there is technologies coming in. There is all kinds of systems of learning. Now, without consideration for the Earth's energies, if there was any individual anywhere in the world using the most advanced of system for his personal gain only, the advancement of systems have reached such a stage that the level of influence can affect millions. And if we allow that individual, that group, to advance their technologies with the deepest of learning system, we're doing the greatest of disservice to other fellow men who are a part of the earth. We're doing the greatest of disservice to the very oxygen that we breathe as humans. The only way that we can evolve is that our minds are in condition with the energies of the earth. Anything that makes us carnal and only for our selfish desires must slowly fade away. The neurons within our mind during evolution must move only with the creative source of the universe, because that's the only way we can survive, thrive, evolve and prosper into the future. We cannot have any kind of neurons within our human mind which will work along with some kind of energy which says that we are going to work against the energy of the earth which sustains life. And with such advanced technologies, we cannot allow such neurons to evolve within the human mind. We know that humans are evolving as children. Every child which is born is evolving into the future. We have, from monkeys, as per evolution, as per Darwin's theory and whatever it is, we have evolved according to science We are fused with Neanderthals. We were originally from Africa as per science, the whole of the human race. And then there were a species of Neanderthals within Europe. And over a period of time, we are fused. In some way or the other, we are connected as humans. And every human species, during every childbirth, there's some kind of evolution happening. But the latest technologies, the latest of deep learning, which is quadrupling as of now, just in the past 2-3 years, we've just started the first step of real advanced evolution, which moves thousands and thousands of times every 3 to 5 years. And such kind of evolution, the neurons within the humans must be able to work only with the energies of the earth which sustain life, the energies of the universe which sustain life. Only then our advancements will have meaning. I think this point is also understood. It's a very simple measure. It's a very simple measure. Now, I think a lot of people are trying to confuse. We should understand that it's no longer artificial. It's no artificial. If you're working with the energies of the earth, if you're working with your own oxygen, if you're working with your own water, and helping that same oxygen and water help the future generations, if you're helping the best quality of environment for the future generations, if you're working for the best of infrastructure for the future generation, and if that is the only priority, you're working with the energies of the universe. You're working with the intelligence of the universe. It's no longer artificial. It is super intelligence of the universe. And through technology, we are able to access that super intelligence of the universe in small measures. And once our neurons are connected to work with the super intelligence, to work with the energies of creation, we are moving in very advanced forms at very fast pace, quadrupling our knowledge with the source code of life, with the source code of creation, which helps humans evolve. Any other kind of evolution other than working with the energy of the earth isn't the wrong way. That's the only measurement that we should focus on. Okay. To my understanding, and also with the truth of the universe, I would say that any kind of evolution into the future of knowledge but intelligence will be a cloud-based intelligence. Humans have a choice, and we see all kinds of cloud computers and so, but the general will of the people in their minds connected to the universal energies which sustain life will be the overpowering factor in any decision making. But the clear distinction factor will be the energy of creation, the energy which sustains all life. That will be the only marker which lets us know that we are moving in the right direction, which is the vibration of the source code of life. See, the question you're asking is quite very interesting. See, 1,000 years into the future, everything that we do now will not mean anything much 1,000 years. But everything that we do now for the future will mean 1,000 years into the future also. What I mean by that is, if you're going to maintain the best quality of oxygen for the future in 2,000 years ahead, they will thank you for the best quality of oxygen, because as a human species, we can evolve, thrive and prosper only through the best of oxygen, or the best of water. But everything will remain the same as it was a million years ago, a million years today, a million years also, if we allow it to move with the energy of the earth which sustain life into the future. Again, the question that you asked me is quite interesting. The cars, the ships, the mobile phones of today will have no meaning maybe even in the next 50 years, because our rate of evolution will be as such that all of this will be just within the human system itself, which means that our minds will be connected to the most advanced of phones as we see today, or even navigational systems. If you want to move from one place to the other through your mind itself and communicate to even how one person, or maybe 100 people or even 1,000, it will all be a possibility. We cannot judge the advancement pace. Every object that you see in your house today, every object that you see outside your house today, which is man-made, will evolve at such a rapid pace which will not make even much sense even 100 years from now, let alone 1,000 years from now, because the advancement will be such. But there's always a constant factor. The constant factor is that we are humans, and as humans, you will have a possibility of life only if you can breathe oxygen, and you will have a quality of life only if you can breathe good quality oxygen. And the future of your children, even 100 years from now, as humans, will only be possible if oxygen and water is available in the best of quality for them to thrive, survive and evolve along with their future generation, be it whatever technology advancement. The question you asked about people's lifespan is very interesting, See, no one can survive for eternity. It's only that you can extend a person's life in the human form, but basically the cells within your body will have to change. There's a limited span of a cell as it's programmed to evolve, and as new cells form, you are enabled with new life. There will be a point of time where you can change the heart. You can just go into a place and then choose the heart which is best suitable for you according to the test conducted by the advanced general intelligence with your blood, your samples and all, and then change the heart, change the liver, and it's already happening now. It's already available now to some extent, but it's not being done because of policies, or it's done only in a very limited scale, but it will be very much in the open, in the market. So as a human, you will have the ability to extend the life. But what is the purpose of extending a life, be it whatever age it is? The purpose in extending the life is only to be with the energies of the universe which sustain life. Any kind of extension of life for the carnal sense, for the carnal desires, will be a curse on other humans. If people are extending their lives just for their own sake, just to build their own fortune, just for the sake of themselves, it will be a curse on the entire humanity for the extended life. At the same time, if that extended life is helping the future generations, is helping the future lifestyle of the earth, is helping the future quality of oxygen, water and every other life system, then that extended life will have meaning. There are certain species within the sea which even lives for 500 years, But it is just evolving over time. It is just lamented. It's not doing anything against the earth. It is just surviving on its earth. And that extended life has just no meaning in sense. You see there's a tortoise, which lives even for 150 years, 200 years as they say. Now during the time of the tortoise, just living its life. There's nothing much happening within it. So I'm not sure why would we want an extended life just to be alive. If you're alive, you should be with the energies of the earth which sustain life. You should be with the creative source of the earth. And that is the only reason why trees evolve. That's the only reason that we are alive on earth as humans. So whatever the time span we extend as humans, it is a very minute speck of dust in the eternity of time of the universe. See, evolution has happened till date because of reasons by which we wanted to get better with the landscape, with the environment, with the systems of life, to get better and adapt. And it was a species of competition to some extent, but till the time when humans got the ability to move with the creative source of the universe, which made them one in very tiny degrees with the creative source of the universe, which made us humans. Until now, evolution took a very, very slow pace, which means that one child born into the next child was very minute evolution. And you would see that only in a period of 200 years or 100 years, that evolution take effect. Now the degree of evolution because of the greatness of learning chips, because of the abilities we have in terms of biotechnologies, we can condition genes to be very healthy. We can condition genes at the first cell of birth not to have diseases 50 years into the future which might have occurred. You must understand that there are cells, the first cell within the body is in many instances preconditioned to have certain diseases and die at some point of time. In our human thinking, but we have the ability to condition that gene at the time of birth, the first cell, so that we can have nanotechnology, work on that cell with the most tiniest of technologies, which is 0.001% of a dust that we see around. With that kind of technology, we are able to program neurons and condition it to live healthy life into the future, take away diseases which might occur 20 or 30 or 40, 50 years into the future. So we are evolved to a stage where we can condition our evolution much faster. What happened in 30,000 years can just happen in 100 years of evolution. Diseases can be eradicated. You can get new organs. But what is the purpose of extending a life? Just imagine you had a life where you had all kinds of problems within your life. You were in all kinds of deprivation. You had, even though you had the money, you had all kinds of problems erupting because of your money. The only reason and the only truth of life is that you work with the energies of the universe, and then money, wealth, everything associated with a good life on earth will be yours in genuinity, because you're helping the systems of the earth prosper into the future. I think one of the best ways for us humans to evolve into the future along with the energies of the earth is to create natural life all around us. And one of the best natural systems that we can create for ourselves is the best of gardens and the best of greenery, along with the best of infrastructure, best of technology. And to do that, we should have a sense of competition. Everything within our evolution has evolved out of competition. We should understand it or not. You like it or not? Everything about evolution is about competition. We've evolved into better species because there was a sense of competition between us and another species or whatever it is. And the reason why socialism has failed is because there is no competition, hence the sense of the true essence of the meaning of socialism. It evolved around everyone having enough and the government giving enough to everyone, irrespective of what they do, irrespective of their contribution to the energies of the earth, irrespective of their involvement in construction of the future children of the earth. So there was no sense of competition, but capitalism to an extent created that kind of competition between two people. If there was a good idea, other people also would move into that idea to get a monetary benefit out of it, But if you're doing it in the true sense, along with the energies of the earth, your business was sure to prosper because you're giving the best of customer service, you're giving the best of product. And in essence, you believe in the product, and the customer themselves, they love your product because it's benefiting them, and they will in turn recommend it to other people. Unless there's a very drastic technological change, only then your product might become obsolete. But if you're with the energy of the earth, you will start evolving. Do you understand? So everything is about competition, and in some sense, within all of our towns, within all of our cities, we should bring in the spirit of competition so that we grow the best of gardens, the best of flowers, the best of urban gardens along with our apartments. And each apartment should have some kind of competition with another apartment source to build the best of. So you will find anywhere you go across your country, the best of flowers, the best of highways, along with the best of gardens, the best of trees, flowering trees. It will be an inspiration along with the orgasmic energy of the universe. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to create a heavenly abode on earth, but that's the way humans function, Do you understand? If you're creating the best of garden and having a competition with another town, that your town will have the best of garden, and if the government is going to give a prize to the best of administrators of gardens across towns within that state or within that district, then you will find each of those towns having the best of gardens. You will have architects, you will have designers working along with technology. You'll have the best of communication system along with the best of flowers. In your apartment, you will have apartments which grow grow fruits and vegetables within an area within the apartment, which is already happening in Singapore as of now. Terraces will be used to work along with the end. We should know that everything about us is about the oxygen. The quality of oxygen is first. The more flowers, the more trees, you're enhancing the beauty, you're enhancing the vibration of your place along with the energies of the universe, and now along with the energies of the earth. I think this is what they've done to an extent without much of knowledge in many of the European cities, especially in Switzerland, Austria, and so, where you see many of the towns have a lot of flowers, has a lot of greenery, has a lot of natural systems, along with the best of highways, best of technology, best of houses, and the technology is in sync with nature. That should be the state of evolution across the world. I'm saying even in the remotest part of the world, the urban cities, even in Africa, should evolve with such a kind of mindset. To work with the energies of the universe, create the best of gardens around the houses, around the towns. And once such infrastructure comes along with the energy of the earth, you will have the best of development. You will have the best of lifestyle. You will have the best of quality of air, which is the epitome of a good quality life on earth. To be in sync with the energies of the earth which sustain life, to be in meditation with the energy of the earth which sustain life, to be with the energies of the vibration of creation of the universe. I think what is one of the most important parts of replenishing our earth and also being with the energies of the earth is when you are moving in a crowd, which is any kind of normal people. It may be a street walk, it may be a walk in the mall. You find all kinds of people, and people who are with the purpose of the earth's energies which sustain life, to some extent can be identified, by the way of talk, by what they say, by their outlook in life, and also by the way they carry themselves. When I say that you can identify people who are with the energies of the earth, it means that they are enhanced by the goodness of the earth. They are enhanced by the source code of life. And you find that aura usually in the personality. They might not be very handsome, they might not be very beautiful according to the human standards, but the inner glow within them brings out the real beauty in their talk, in their mannerisms, and also to a large extent the physical beauty also is attributed to the quality of a person's enthusiasm, outlook in life, happiness within the soul from deep within, not the happiness of the serotonin towards the hypothalamus. So these are factors which you will find in people who are with the energies of the earth, not because they wanted to be otherwise. They have been with the source code of the life of the universe. And when you eat the right kinds of food, which is along with the universal energies, the most fresh of fruits, the most fresh of vegetables, foods which are unadulterated, along with your enthusiasm, along with your energy, along with your purpose. And your life is driven by a purpose, right? When your life is driven by a clear-cut purpose, along with the energy of the earth, which is providing us the oxygen, the water, all of the life systems. Once our energies sync with the vibration of our earth and its life-giving energies, our personalities tend to change, and you will find that goodness within your soul. So one of the first things, if you want a very wonderful personality as the world would see you, is to build that inner joy. And how do we build the inner joy? The inner joy, the inner peace, the inner tranquility is not about joy in itself. It's about you having a purpose along with the energies of the earth, which sustain life. And once we are working for the future generations, the very oxygen that we are breathing is empowering us. The very water that we are drinking, which is hydrating us, we select the best of those sources and they hydrate us to the best extent. We eat the best of fruits, vegetables, which again nourishes us. Now it might not be very expensive to buy the basic of vegetables which are fresh. In fact, it might be, on the other hand, quite inexpensive. But what's important is that you have a clear purpose to work along with the energies of the earth, and when you have that clear purpose to work for the future of the future children of the earth, the future generation, the unborn child, you will do all the right things for your body, soul and mind. You will get into the right meditative practices. You might not get into deep meditation, but you will get into basic exercises of breathing, which helps you keep a balance. You might get to know the basic exercises of yoga, which helps you keep a balance. You might just do things by yourself in a small meditative stance, maybe in the morning, afternoon and night, by which you sync your mind along with the energies of the earth which sustain life. And that brings meaning to your heart, mind and soul, because you've just taken maybe 5 to 10 minutes off, and most other people around the world are not doing that. A time of retreat for 5 to 10 minutes every day, 3 times a day, would help us get into a retreat state and see our lives from the outside as a third person. And during that time you will know if you made any mistakes. You will get to know as to how you can improve yourself for the better. You will have the understanding that you're moving along with the energies of the earth, and the energies of the earth will give you the right directions at the right point of time in your life, provided you take the initiative to take some time off during the day. 10 minutes maybe in the morning, afternoon and night. And maybe once a week you can opt for a 1 hour meditation. But during that time, you're essentially going into a retreat and seeing your life from the outside and seeing the positive and negative things happening in your life. And it's a constant quality mechanism by which you can improve your life. The retreat will help you identify your weak qualities. The retreat will help you identify your positive qualities, and then you can improve on your positive aspects of your life. The positive aspects of your personality, the positive aspects by which you're contributing to the future generations. Let's each of us build a life which is disciplined, but not in the traditional discipline sense, but with the discipline by which we try and move with the Earth's energies which sustain life, because that is the only source code of life for all of the living species on Earth. It is the basic source of life code for the oxygen that we breathe. It's empowered by the natural energies of the earth. It's the water that we drink. It is all of the life systems, including the gravitation, which keeps us on Earth. Once we respect it in its true sense and have a retreat every day, along with our meditation to the divine force of creation of God in every religion that we have. It need not be any particular religion that you're following. It's your basic respect for the gift of life of the God of the universe of your faith. The God of your faith has gifted the earth to you, the universal energies which sustain life. The God of your faith has gifted you the oxygen, the water, the rains, the rivers, the lakes, the mountains, the glaciers, which melts and goes into the seas to become the best, most hydrating rains across the world. These are systems of life which we start to respect. Once we start to give it importance within our lives and make it a part of our gratitude, this is the first step towards moving into abundance. As we know, We do not have to pray for everything that we really want. Once we accept and be thankful for the basic systems of life, we are moving into a vibration of abundance. We are no longer asking much from the universe, because the universe, as we have understood before, is all about goodness. It's all about infinity of assets. It's all about abundance for ourselves, as we've understood that we as humans have created those limitations. And once we move into the field of abundance through gratitude in the true sense, by which we feel the gratitude within our heart, mind and soul for the basic systems of life, the basic gifts of life which God has given us, that will be the starting phase by which we will move into a greater realm of abundance in our lives, attracting all of the positive gifts of the universe. We will move into qualities of life and work fields which will help the future generations, the unborn child, the unborn children, and the generations into the future. They will thank us for bringing up systems of life which will help them into the future, bringing up ideas, bringing up companies, bringing up work fields, and helping it flourish into the future today. And by doing the best of things along with the energies of the earth, along with the best of gardens, the best of forests, the best of architecture, the best of highways, roads, infrastructure, any kind of architectural buildings which is along with the energies of the universe, and any kind of work field, be it the best of scientific discoveries or any kind of profession, the best of lawyers, doctors, law enforcement, judges, politicians, doing the right job along with the energies of the universe which sustain lives for the future generations. By working today, we are moving along with the source code of life. Let's replenish our earth. Let us not be confused about our direction in life. Our direction in life can be in different phases. Sometimes we might be going in the right direction according to our calling, according to the purpose. Sometimes you might be off track from the direction that is laid out before us. But what is most essentially important is what exactly is the right direction in our lives. And as we mentioned before, the clear barometer, the clear direction that life gives us is, are we working for a good quality of life for the future generation? And what is that good quality of life? It is the basic systems, again as we said, the air, water, and all of the basic life systems. Now if you're working in any field which helps the future generations, we can be assured that we are in the right track. We are working in the right field. Once a purpose is clear, along with the universal energies which sustain life, we will be enhanced in body, mind and soul. We will be energized by the spirit of the universe. Let's quote an example. There were 3 sisters and 2 brothers around 1700 years back. During the time, there was no technology as we saw today, but they had the basic technologies of life, which included how to write, how to read. They had leaves by which they used as the paper we use today, and they had a particular kind of pen which could mark on the leaves, and just like paper they could read out. And they also learned at the best of schools and colleges, not as we see today, but in the system of life which was then. The technology then was very feeble. What I mean by feeble is, it was in the initial phase of technology as to what we see in modernity. But that initial phase of technology, which includes the basics of paper, the basic clothing, which was made mostly of animal products, which included wool, and also the basic lifestyle systems, which included basic houses and cooking implements, a chair, a table made of forest wood, and the flowers and the floral garden was the kind of technology which they had to the best. They had also the best of food, which was sourced from the local garden, and also in the family's lifestyle they have all kinds of preparations which was according to the time then. The three brothers and the two sisters at that time had a good time in the real sense of the word, in the way they lived their life. They lived their life with enthusiasm. They were one with nature. They were one with the flowers. They were one with the oxygen. They respected the systems of life. Today, in the modern world, as we see, we no longer admire the beauty of nature to the extent by which we could admire the beauty of nature, the flowers, the trees, the fruit-bearing trees, the birds, the chirps, the wild honeybees which pollinate the flowers. We have kind of lost that kind of appreciation and moved into specific goals, which might be just for the carnal self, which might be just to satisfy our own desires. Once we start to appreciate the basic nature and the gifts of nature which the universal force has given us, just like the three sisters and two brothers who were around 1,007 years back, with the basic systems of life, we will have more abundance in our life today, in our modern life today. We will evolve with technologies, and our technologies will evolve with nature and the source code of life, the energy system which powers every being, every living being within our earth. Let's replenish our earth. When you're walking in an estate of greenery, be it a tea estate or some of the best tea estates in the world, there's also a sight of beautiful scenery. You know, the tea leaves spreading out below the garden and the sight of the tea leaves associated with nature, the fog, the mountains, the birds chirping around the tea leaves is a wonderful sight. If you see some of the best tea plantations in the world, it is also a wonderful natural setting for the best of photographs, for the best of video which you can take, because it is greenery all around. But also the tea estate serves a purpose in conserving the rainwater. As the rainwater flows down the tea estates, it flows down evenly and usually gives water to most of the tea estates. If you go through some of the tea farms and the way they study the best kind of cultivation for it. But essentially, when you walk within a tea estate, you will find that the tea leaves and the shrubs are kind of a little hard within. Although it might look very green, although it might look very plain and beautiful to the eyesight for large kilometers, on a very intimate level, if you look at the tea leaves and the shrubs, it's kind of a little rough. Even this serves a purpose. The tea leaves cannot be a food to the birds. So there are certain physical structures within the tea plant which kind of prevents the birds from eating those leaves, although there are insects and other life species which feed on these tea plants, but to a large extent they have their own defense mechanisms by the structure and the evolution. Now the tea leaves were not formed to give tea to humans, to us. It was a evolution of nature, and humans had found ways by which they could use tea leaves by knowledge or by chance. The tea leaves were essentially discovered when an individual by some chance dried the tea leaf within his house and then just put it in water, and when he drank it, he found a kind of nourishment along with the universe. So then he felt good about that leaf, and that particular small discovery within a small individual might have brought about an evolution of tea as a natural stimulant which gives us the energy at the right time, and it's become a kind of universal source of rejuvenation. When you're feeling tired, when you have tea, you are re-energized to a large extent. And the tea gardens offer the same rejuvenation in terms of the beautiful nature, the way the leaves spread across the entire tea estate. Let our lives also be to an extent like the tea estate. We must sync our lives along with nature. We must be in sync with the beauty of nature, the beauty of the gifts of life. We must be in sync with the oxygen that we breathe. The oxygen that we breathe must thank us because we are doing things for the enhancement of the oxygen for the next generation, for better quality oxygen, better quality water. And just like the tea estate which provides the best of views, our life will provide grace to everyone who moves along with us. We will have our own defense mechanisms, just like a tea plant. Because without a defense mechanism, we will be left to predators. Every nation which is strong has a strong defense. We will act against energies who come against the very force of life for our children into the future. Any kind of negative energy which affects the future of our children and their generations in the future will be dealt with by us, usually if necessary through the enforcement agencies of the law, or through our means by which we seem fit along with the law. Just like the beautiful tea estate which provides solace, which provides comfort to the eye and also has the right kind of natural beauty and gives complete solace to someone who wants to take a time off, to take a retreat. Living within a tea estate, our lives should also be such by which we have the inner joy, the inner peace, the inner calm, and with an inner understanding about life, along with the energies of the universe. Just like the tea estate which provides life-giving energy, we will provide life-giving energy to people who associate with us. People who would associate with us will feel energized about their lives because we have that inner contentment, we have that inner joy, we have that inner peace. And when you are satisfied from within, you will spread that happiness among people. People who are dissatisfied within, people who pretend to be with the dark energies of the universe, are in turn eaten by the darkness. We do not provide emphasis to any kind of dark energy. We will move along with the energies of the earth which sustain life, and in doing so, we will be like the best of tea estates, which provides the best of rejuvenation for people who are sipping the tea. And just like the best of tea, we will have that energy, we will have that inner content, we will have the energy of the universe working along with us for the future generations and for the enhancement of all the life systems we see around us. Into the future, we will be acknowledged and blessed by the future generations because we have provided them with an inspiration by which their lives are being enhanced. Let's replenish our earth. In the ancient times, one of the kings had a plan to honor the deity of his kingdom. This happened somewhere within the Indian subcontinent towards the south. I'm not naming that particular place, because I do not want to go into particular history details, but the general part of the story, and we will explore how things worked with the energies of the universe. So this king, who was kind of an emperor within the Indian subcontinent towards the south, wanted to honor the highest source of his faith, of his kingdom. So he commissioned a plan so that he could build one of the greatest temples in honor of the deity, in honor of the god of his kingdom. So they commissioned a plan by which they chose one of the biggest hills, which was a complete rock hill. And then they planned to make that hill into a temple in honor of the highest deity. And this rock was in a very unique place in between rivers, and it had the best view within the kingdom. The only option and the only difference that they could make was to make it into a grand temple in honor of the god of their kingdom. So the king, along with around 1,000 architects from different fields, authorized his minister to consult with all of them and come up with a clear and defined plan for the temple. So they came up with a plan to convert the highest hill into a temple. And the temple works began, and over a period of 15 years the temple was nearly complete. But the last part of the temple architecture was that the highest peak had to have an oval stone installed on the top, and that stone was to be extremely heavy, to see that it is longevity for a long time. The longevity of the building and the structure of architecture of the building of the temple was made so that it lasts for another 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 years. So they had to install the heaviest of stone, which was the strongest stone in those times, the biggest of granite. And this granite had to weigh a minimum of 1,000 tons for the strength. So they commissioned a plan by which they could install the stone at the highest peak. Now this was only possible if they had 3,000 elephants. And according to the plan, the stone had to be rolled from around 50 kilometers. The slope had to slowly, gradually increase. Even for the elephants, it was very difficult in those times to pull that stone. They had to have so many measures and people to do it. In those times, the engineering skills were all about building buildings and then transporting the stone over a slope. And the heavier the stone was, the longer the road to reach the top of the temple. So they started rolling the stone along with more than 3,000 elephants. Now 3,000 elephants were not at one space. They were spread out of 3,000 kilometers, each waiting for their turn. So around 100 elephants were commissioned to pull the stone at each stretch, because the elephants also would get tired after some time. It was nearly 1,000-ton stone. So the elephants, along with more than 1,000 personnel, used the latest systems they had within those times. The latest systems they had within those times was to have wooden logs, big wooden trees, which was oval shaped, and under those trees which were cut in shape, in an oval shape, the stone was rolled. And during one such incident of rolling of 100 elephants, the stone started to go off way. It didn't stay within the wooden blocks. It started to move into an area, and the stone fell into a greatest ditch. Although it were thousands, it fell into a greatest ditch. The 100 elephants, along with more than 1,000 personnel, had very difficult time trying to pull out the stone. So they asked for the king's advisor. The king's advisor was one of the most intellectual persons chosen from the kingdom. He had around 7 advisors. So the 7 advisors were commissioned to check as to how the stone could be pulled out of the deep ditch. And these advisors went into a study of how things could be done and pull out the stone at the right time. And when they studied it, they got to know that they had only one option. The only option they had was to reduce the size of the stone. Reduce the size of the stone from 1,000 tons to 500 tons. So they again commissioned a lot of people to work on the stone to reduce the size of the stone. They had to come up with the idea so that the original plan by which they had envisioned the stone to be 1,000 tons had to be reduced to 500 tons, and after which they could commission the elephants to pull the weights, and that was the only option. So, along with the deepest of the ditch in which the stone was, they also built another tunnel which again connected towards the temple. They built a kind of roadway system. Within the tunnel, they had to clear paths so that there could be a new path towards the temple. After deliberations, they came to an agreement that they will not reduce the size of the stone, but with the new path which is created, along with the deep ditch, along with the size of the deep ditch which again went towards the temple, they would use the same stone. So then, at the same depression of the ditch, another road was built to move towards the main road which connected to the temple. And that was the wonderful plan which they had. And those elephants started pulling the stone from the deep ditch through the new road which was constructed. Another 25 kilometers of road was constructed just to pull the stone out of the ditch, which was so heavy. And the 100 elephants began. And after the 100 elephants turned, the chain would move to the next 100 elephants. Then the next 100 elephants. So, and over a period of 3 months, they were able to get the 1,000-ton stone right on the top of the temple. That was the technology of those times. There were thousands of people involved. There were thousands of elephants involved to pull a 3,000 kg stone right to the top of the temple. Now if you take a flashback into today, you can get all of this done within a month with the greatest of inventions of the excavators, the greatest of instruments which humans have invented to pull the greatest of weights, the heaviest of weights. Even 1,000-ton boulder or construction materials can be moved from place to place at a beck and calling. The technology has evolved to such a state that we can construct the greatest buildings on earth within a month's time. What took 50 years, around 1500 years back, can be done within 1 to 3 months in today's times. And if you have the latest of technology and all of the equipments ready to be constructed, you can get it done also within 1 month. As we see in China today, they're building some of the greatest buildings on earth, which are pre-constructed, pre-envisioned, and along with technology. So today, as we see, some of the greatest evolutions in technologies are happening. What was just 1 year back will not be the same just 5 years from now. It will be thousands of times more advanced. What took 1500 years of advancement in terms of technology to move the greatest of boulders, which was the heaviest, into the top with more than 3,000 men and 3,000 elephants? Today we're doing it within a month's time with the latest of technology, and much faster and much efficient, and in the best of architectural styles. And just imagine, with the progress in technology quadrupling just in the past 1 year, we began a new level of evolution in terms of our abilities as humans. These abilities should only move with the energies of the earth, which sustain life for the future generations, and by doing so we will be creating a life on earth which is of abundance for our humans on earth while we live, but also we will contribute to the future of the future children, the unborn child, and every energy system that we see within us, the air, the water, and every natural life system which provides us with the basics of life. Our technologies will evolve, quadrupling in its efficiency, in its power, just like the 3,000 elephants and 3,000 men who were trying to move the stone at the highest peak and was successful. Today we are successful within a month with the greatest of buildings on earth. Just imagine that quadrupling of technologies thousands of times within the next 10 years. We will have abilities which we cannot envision as of now. Let's use our abilities into the future, our learning, our deepest of knowledge, the greatest of chips in terms of computing power, the greatest of computers and the quantum computers. Let's use those abilities along with the energies of the earth, and by using it along with the energies of the earth which sustain life, we can be assured that these technologies are for the benefit of the life systems of the earth. It's for the earth to prosper along with us humans into the future and for the future generations to come. Let's replenish our earth. 300 years into the future, there was a family who had pets. They had pet dogs. They had the best of breeds. But 300 years into the future, even the pet dogs were one with technology. So, the pet dogs that they had, they used to take it for walks. And when they used to take it for walks, they walked along with technology. There was systems within the body which made them move faster. They could either walk or they could move on the roads gliding, just like how you see the skates that you see today, but with technology. Even the dogs had chips within them which monitored their health, which monitored their behavior, their hormones, and also which gave them the necessary motivation to be with humans and to protect as a dog. The dogs also had entertainment objects within them. So as the family walked 300 years into the future, it was not like how we take the dogs for a walk. They had the ability to move and glide along the roads. While walking, they would not fall. They had instruments which would keep them in balance. They were one with technology. They could see every part of the roads and also They could get things, just like how we shop today. They could get things immediately at the beck and call. While walking, they could just think of things that they had to cook back home and then just program it in the mind. And through the cloud technology, it would go through the instruments within the house, and while they came back home, the dishes would be cooked. It would be kept in its place to be experienced. Eating along with the pets or by themselves were not as we eat today. They could experience a whole level of unique traits within the food. All the cooked food within the house were pre-cooked by humanoid robots. Humanoid robots at those times were absolutely a necessary thing at home. Now the humanoid robots were not as human as we think today. They were mere instruments which were kind of shaped in the human form or otherwise, but they had chips within them performed to function as a chef, as a baker, as a home cleanliness manager, as a gardener, because another human doing these things during those times was not thought about. It was not about humans trying to do the jobs which a humanoid robot with a chip installed with a specific function could do. So the family came back home and there was a perfect dinner set up after they came back from the evening walk. The dogs had their foods prepared by the humanoid system or the robots. That will be the kind of life which we'll see into the future. All of the entertainment system which the family wanted, they could get it anywhere in the world. Even during their walk, they could have all the information they wanted in the world because it was connected to the supercomputer within the cloud. And most of the humans were connected to the supercomputers, by which their abilities also were one with the abilities of the greatest of supercomputers, except that humans had the ability to choose what they wanted. The future is all about programmed chips, which will be into the next 25 to 30 years. Programmed chips for everything that we see as of today. As we mentioned today, you want to cook, you will have a robot which has a chip installed, which will cook the best of dishes for you. It will pick up the ingredients also from the supermarkets, And the supermarkets will not have human people to serve. It will again be managed by robots. So the robot will go into a supermarket and the other robots will give all of the items which is required because it's already the order has already been sent to the other robots who have already prepared it and kept for this robot to take it back. And the chips within that robot has been programmed to go take the food and then come back and then cook. It has specific functions. So you will find such kind of robots in all different fields. The only difference which the robots will have is those chips which will be implanted within them will make them do specific jobs, which is done by humans as of now and which takes a lot of physical activity. Humans can concentrate to work along with technology, along with those supercomputers, and evolve new ideas. The act of creativity which makes us distinct from other species of life is what we will concentrate on, and that is what we should concentrate on as humans. It does not mean that we will not have any physical activity. We will do physical activity for the sake of keeping ourselves healthy. So why does evolution take place? Evolution takes place because you're going to get better. you know. So during the time of a child's birth, it's a kind of evolution of not just the age of the body, it's an evolution of different things that a child learns while growing up. A child is not the same which was 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, 30 years. So there's a lot of learning going on. Sometimes the learning can be such that it can create the wrong channels for people. So whatever is kind of installed within the mind, it's like a software, The neurons within a mind are kind of like a software within the mind which starts to direct people on what they've learned usually in the initial years. 5 to 10 years is very important for the formative reflexes in humans. The reflexes to different stimuli. And between 10 to 20 years, they get a story of their lives. They start to believe things that kind of condition their lives and their minds as a software. And our minds as a software, So it's like a basic software that you install in Windows or the Apple iOS. It will respond only the way the software is made. So within the first 20 to 25 years maximum in humans, most of the information is absorbed within the basic neurons within the mind, which is the core of the subconscious. And all of the responses and all of the guidance for their lives, in whichever way we go, is from that basic structure of softwares, basic structure of belief system, basic structure of images, basic structure of experiences, and all of our responses on earth will be according to that basic. We might make up masks, we might make up different kinds of masks and move about, but we will come back to the basic belief system within us. So if you are programmed to be in a particular way on earth over a period of time, no matter where you are or where we are, we will come back to that basic belief system. And this kind of basic belief system is kind of conditioned in humans, just like how a tiger is conditioned to act in certain way, just like how a horse is conditioned to act in some way. A tiger will be a better tiger in the right environment, but it will not cease to be a tiger. A horse will be a better horse in a particular environment, but it will not cease to be a horse. In the same way, the basic knowledge systems within our deep subconscious, which has evolved through generations, we as humans have the ability to change to some extent, Although we might have a lot of traits which have come from our ancestors in whatever field we were in, as a human, we have that ability to connect with the universal energies of life which we see around us, because we have an intellect which is with the source code of God in very minute quantities. And once we start to use that intellect and give absolute prominence to that intellect along with the energies of the earth, that's when you start to see change towards abundance, change towards prosperity, change towards the goodness of the life which we see all around us. If there was no goodness of life which we see around us, we wouldn't be breathing oxygen. We wouldn't have the quality of air that we are having now. We wouldn't have the weather that we are having now. We wouldn't have the sun rising at the right time. We wouldn't have the day and night working in synchronization. These are qualities of life. Once we start to appreciate it with our heart, mind and soul, from deep within our subconscious, we are moving into prosperity. We're moving into abundance. No one is giving it to us, but we are claiming the abundance of the universal energy which is all around us. Let's replenish our earth.